We are joined by two people for further discussion on this story. Seojin Yoon, journalist from Busan, South Korea, and was also joined by Professor Madhav Nalaput, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. Thank you very much for joining us. Madhav Nalaput, I want to come to you first. How on earth does something like this happen?
Well, frankly, it's unfortunate, and the good luck is that it did not land in North Korea. Had that happened, the North Korean reaction is always hair trigger. Heaven knows what it would have provoked. So, quite frankly, I'm quite surprised. These are high-precision aircraft carrying high-precision munitions. They are pre-programmed to land where the pilots want the bombs to fall. And landing in a civilian area is completely off base. As I said, the good news, if there's any good news out of this terrible incident, is the reality that had it been on the North Korean border, quite a lot of flights take place on that border, and had the bomb landed by accident across the DMZ, well, that would have created a very, very bad situation. So, I mean, we have escaped that. We have escaped that just very narrowly.
Yes.
But this is absolutely intolerable. And whoever is responsible down the chain of command needs to be basically cashiered. This is not a simple warning or an explanation. This is something which, in my view, calls for dismissal.
Yes, Seojin Yoon, I want to come to you next. Thank you very much for joining us. What are people saying about this accident in South Korea, and what key factors led to this accidental dropping on bombs in a civilian area?
I think it's not hard for the public to not question the basic safety checks and management systems. So we absolutely need a thorough investigation. That's what all the public is now thinking about. And to figure out what happened, and we also need to reassess this, like how victims are supported during training.
Yes, Madhav Nalaput, I want to come back to you. Do you think how do you think the military can respond to this incident, and what measures can be taken in the future to prevent things like this happening?
Look, we have a very unfortunate situation in South Korea, which is a very, very important country. It's not only a highly developed country, it's one of the linchpins of defense of the democracies in the Indo-Pacific. And very frankly, you have a situation where you have an elected president who's under trial now and is probably going to be impeached, and he was arrested. Now, in South Korea, unfortunately, there's a history of ex-presidents being sent to prison. And now you have an example of a sitting president in danger of, he's already been sent to prison, of remaining in prison. And in my view, what Yoon committed was wrong, but in 6 hours he rectified it, and no real damage was done. So I don't believe that an elected president deserves this kind of trial and this kind of fate. So frankly, South Korea, the system is a little bit in flux now. There is really no effective president, and the president has vast powers in South Korea. So that's a huge problem which the country is facing. But having said all that, it's very important the military bring to book, identify and bring to book whatever has gone wrong and cashier those who are responsible.
Yes, yes. Seojin Yoon, how might this affect how might this accident affect the public trust in South Korea's military operations?
Like I said, this is not a good sign for the public, of course. And so it's hard for the public to not question the basic safety checks. And so I think we need more thorough readiness and claim that joint military exercise with the US should be more prepared. And these irresponsible measures should be addressed and should be properly addressed.
Yes, Seojin. Do you think this accident could be exploited possibly by North Korea for maybe propaganda purposes?
Yes, this accident could potentially be exploited by North Korea for propaganda purposes, like they might use it to criticize South Korea's military readiness or claim that the joint military exercise with the US are dangerous and irresponsible.
Yes. Professor Madhav Nalapat, how can we move forward from this? How can South Korea, is obviously consumed in this political crisis as well. The chain of command, there needs to be an investigation over this, and we need to figure out how to do that. What more can you say about this accident that has happened?
Look, all I can say is that South Korea has real enemies. It's got the North Korean regime, which is, to put it mildly, no friend of the South Korean regime. And President Yoon was very straightforward. In fact, he was possibly the first South Korean president in my memory who had the courage to stand up and along with Japan and say, yes, the Japanese are our partners in security, which is a fact. It's been an unfortunate history between the valiant Korean people and Japan, but the fact is that was history. Today, the situation is quite different. So he was very emphatic on that, and he was very clear on the need for a strong stand on the new threat in the Indo-Pacific, and that threat is China. So
yes.
That being the case, I'm a little worried about exactly how this entire process rolled out. And this vacuum is being exploited by people. And we don't know if it was an act of deliberate sabotage, if there was some deliberate sabotage of some guidance systems or something else. But all I'm saying is that a thorough investigation does need to be carried out, because the South Koreans are very good in technology. They are, in fact, leading the world in a lot of technology. Their companies are leading the world in technology. So this happening is completely beyond the realm of understanding. So the possibility of sabotage, the possibility of something like that happening cannot be ruled out.
Seojin Yoon and Professor Madhav Nalapat, thank you very much for joining us.